Hello and welcome to Lord Fenton Gaming Plays the Outer Worlds. I'm your host Lord Fenton. In this Don't Panic series, we're gonna go ahead and look at the Outer Worlds. As always, like, comment, and subscribe to my channel for more content like this. Do not forget to hit the notification bell so be updated and more. I don't know what I'm doing. Why my companions firing like crazy instead, holding back? Why are these creatures and people hostile? Don't panic. Help is on the way. With this guide, we'll help you out with character creation, how to survive the world, and how to make use of your choices. So let's go ahead and start the guide right at this moment. In the Outer Worlds, there's a total of 4 difficulties. I'll go over each and every one of them. Now, story mode, this is the easiest of the difficulties. Enemies will have less health and do less damage. If it's your first time playing a first-person shooter RPG game, with story mode. Now, normal mode, enemies will have standard health and damage. So it's like the middle of the road. If you want a little bit challenging for difficulty, pick normal. Hard, enemies will have more health and hit much more hard in damage. So if you want something like a little bit tougher, go for hard. Now, Supernova, yeah, the enemies are most brutal. You have to rest if your body's crippled or you have limb injuries. Companions can die. You must eat, drink, or sleep to survive. And yet, you cannot fast travel anywhere else, just only to your ship. And also save at your ship. I'm going to say for advice for difficulty, simply pick story mode or normal. So let's get to the next topic. Now, next up is character creation. It might be daunting, but it is not. So I'm going to go through each of the sections for character creation. First of all, with attributes. Now, strength, first of all, more points in the strength, more damage you get to do with melee weapons, and also the amount you could carry. Great for the most part for melee builds or even heavy weapon builds too. Dexterity often affects melee attack speed and ranged weapon reload speed. I'm going to say this is more great for ranged weapons, but also if you want more speed for melee weapons like one-handers, that's good. Intelligence affects your critical hit bonus damage, also some dialogues too, negative or positive. Great to have if you're going negative or positive for intelligence or those critical hits. Perception affects headshots and weak point damage bonuses. So if you're more into shooting, this is the attribute for you, perception. Now, charm affects your faction reputation, companion ability cooldowns too. Also your talking skills. So if you're more into talking way out of things, yeah, charm is great to have. Now, temperament, it just helps with health regeneration. And that's about it. I'm going to say this, more points you put into certain attributes, certain skills will definitely go up there. Now, if you're more negative points into that, certain skills will go down. And like, for example, intelligence, if you have more points, that's negative into it. And there are some extra options that you're really a dumb person. But still, my advice is go with your building your character. If you're going for more melee, go for strength. If you're going for more range, go with dexterity and, of course, perception. So next part is skills. Now, you'll put a category in until 50 points, and then you put a separate one. For example, one-handed melee weapons, more points you have in one-handed melee, more critical chance goes up. Same thing with two-handed weapons, but it's a two-handed version. More points in two-handed weapons, more critical chance goes up. Now, handguns is more into handguns, like for example, pistols and revolvers. That's more critical chance and less sway of the gun. Now, long guns like assault rifles, sniper rifles, more points in that, more critical chance is up, and also long gun sway goes down. Heavy weapons, same thing. Critical chance goes up, and heavy weapon sway goes down when you have more points in the heavy weapons. Now, next up is defense. Dodge, that means more points on dodge. More you could dodge from a certain distance. Also, harmful status effect duration is lowered. Pretty good, though, if you're more defensive. Now, block, this is only great with a melee weapon, one-hander or two-hander. That means every time you use a melee weapon, your armor rating goes up. And yeah, just remember those that if you're going for more defensive. Persuade, this will help you with certain conversation and also inflict cower, aka fear, on human foes. Great to have if you're attacking more humans more often than not. Now, lie. You could lie to people more, you could lie better it is. Also, you could scramble automated foes like robots. Great to have. You're facing them more than often than not. Intimidate. You could terrify creatures, which is good. Also, use the intimidate talking skill so things will go your way. Next up is sneak. More points in the sneak, less your foes will be aware of you. Also, bonus sneak attack damage later down the line. Great to have if you're more of a stealthy kind of person. Now, next up on the list is hack. More points in the hack, that means less use of the bypass stunts for hacking, so you can automatically hack things at 0. Also great to hack automated foes too. Now lockpick, this is used to unlock things like, for example, more points on a lockpick, less use of the mag locks. Next up is medical. More points in the medical, more amount you get to heal. Get healed by medical inhibitors. Also, effect from items in the medical inhibitors goes up. Science, that means more damage with plasma weapons, shock weapons, and science weapon effects too. Great to have you using a lot of science weapons, and there's some good ones. Engineer, this reduces armor parts and weapon parts needed to repair your equipment. Great to save money if you are constantly repairing, get yourself more danger. Now, inspiration increases your companion damage bonus. Pretty good to have if you're really relying on your companions more often than not. If you're a lone wolf, pass on it. Now, last but not least is determination. More points than that, more your companions get health. Now, you notice the tiers, when you get to 50, then you select the own category, and you notice more points you put into it, more things you could definitely get. So, for example, with ranged weapons now, I have just unlocked the novice level, which will give me access to the slowdown time thing. Also, stealth to unlock the ability, for example, to hack goods, etc. The next part is aptitude. So this will give you bonuses. You could do the first one, which is no discerning aptitude, which is all right, but it's up to you. Now, if you do that one, the first one, this will give your companions more hit points. If you're into that, if you use companions more often than not. Now, beverage service technician, drink effects duration will go up by 3%. So if you're drinking certain things, like for example, ale to boost up certain stats, you do that. Now, bureaucrat rank 0, this will just give you block +1. If you're mealing more often than not, this is actually pretty good to have because you'll be blocking quite a bit. Cashier subgrade, non-supervisory, this gives you persuasion +1. If you're in the talking skills, get this one ASAP. Yeah, I use talking skills a lot in this game. Now, construction electrician class, wire spooler, gives you shock damage received by -3%. It's like shock resistance. Elevator operator specialist gives you engineering +1. Great if you're using the workbench more often than not to improve your gear like crazy. Factory worker conveyor operator, this gives you dodge +1. This one's all right if you're in a dodge. If not, I'd probably say pass on it. Dirt farmer, end rate damage received is -3%. This is like end rate damage resistance. If you're getting hurt by end rate more often than not, get it. Food additive tester, this gives you a boost in food effect duration by 3%. Pretty decent to have if you're eating food quite a bit for stat bonuses. Janitor, sanitation class, corrosive damage received is -3%. This is corrosion damage resistance, I should say. Get it if you're having a problem with that. Toss ball, team mascot, inspiration +1. Your companions will do much more damage by 1 or so if you pick this one. Now, next up is medical technician, junior grade, medical +1. It's actually good for medical if you're going that route. I know some speed builds will actually pick this one big time. I did for my speed run a long time ago. Safety inspector, plasma damage received is -3%. This is like plasma damage resistance. Good to have if you're getting suffered by plasma damage. Science assistant, level 0, class A, science +1. If you're using science weapons, pick this one big time. Sub sous chef. This gives you one-hand melee bonus by +1. If you're using one-hand melee weapons more often than not, go ahead and pick this one. Pick which one you feel it's good for your character you're building towards. Me, for example, I'm doing Persuade. Yeah, I'm a shooter, sneaky person, also a talker. Now, I'm going to go ahead and skip towards the last part. When you're done creating your character, your looks, and giving that character a name, great idea to go over what you just did. From attributes, aptitudes, and skills. So take your time looking things over before committing to starting the game. If you're going for more of a melee build, definitely focus the stats I showed you. If you're going for more a shooting build, go for that too. Let's go talk about the next part of the guide. I always give people advice for games like this. Save your game often and early. If you decide to go into danger, save the game. If you made a bad choice, save before doing that bad choice, and much more. If you mess up, just revert your save. Without saving, you'll lose some progress. Let's go ahead and talk about the UI outside the menu. Now the icon, when it's like that means you're stealthy. If not, it's just a plain old dot. Now in the top middle, that's your heading, also where your objectives are at. And there's your objectives there too, right in front of you. And dialogue will appear on the right side. Your health is on the upper left. Same thing with your slowdown ability, experience bar until it fills up, then you gain a level, your healing kits, and how fast you can run too. Let's talk about the UI in the menu. The next part is the inventory system. I'm going to go ahead and start with that. Also your character system, journal, and map. This is your weapon part of the inventory. You get to hold up to 4 different type of weapons. There's 3 ammunitions. My advice is either go with damage types for each one, for 1 through 4, or a different type of ammunition you want to use for different weapons. Now next up is armor. Like your weapons, you will have to need to repair them too. You'll see an icon on that. Your armor gets to store your armor and helmets. So if you want to equip certain new ones, go ahead and use this menu for it. And yeah, do look out for your weight too. In this game, items weigh like crazy, so be careful on that. Now this next section is medical stuff, food and drink. More points in medical, more consumable slots you get to have open combined with your adreno, which is good. Now this is where your modifications go, weapons and armor. So if you want to really start collecting those, so this way you can modify your weapons or armor, do so. This is your general stuff, for example, lockpicks, stunts, or anything else that's miscellaneous gear in here. Junk does not belong here. We'll talk about that in a bit. This is your quest item section. So if you're looking for certain quest items, they are here. Great news. They cannot be destroyed at all. So don't panic. Don't worry. Other games, quest items get destroyed. You're screwed. Not in this game. Now, junk, this is where your items are totally useless. You get to sell to vendors. Great to have. Now, this is your journal for quests, side quests, tasks, anything complete or anything else you messed up. And also that's where your main quests are at too, and companions too. This is your codex. If you want to take time reading that, that's fine. Now, this is your map system. Unfortunately, in the Outer Worlds, you cannot mark custom waypoints, but still, it's a map. It's great to have. It's also very helpful on telling you where you need to go if you have a quest marked. So I'm going to go ahead and get to the next section. This is your character part of the UI in the menu. It's your attributes. Now, there might be some minus. If you suffer a minus, if there's positive, then it's there. This is where your skills are at too. The parentheses, that means you equip something, positive or negative, or certain attitudes. So definitely keep that in mind for anything that's up or down. Now, I'm going to briefly touch up on the perks. Every few levels you gain a perk point. There's also other ways too. I'll explain that better in the next section. This is your derived stats. This also tells you your current experience points, how much more experience you need to level up, your current and max health, also your armor rating, head rating for armor, and anything else too. Other than, let's go do the last one. I forgot. Reputation. In the Outer Worlds, you do certain things like it boosts your reputation with a certain faction that goes up or goes down. So do be careful. That's about it for the UI for the menu. The next part of the video I'm going to go into greater detail is the perks section. Let's speak about the perks in this game. Perks can range from either carrying more stuff, running, walking, more health, more things that's beneficial for you, more beneficial for your companions. Every 5 perk points in a tier will open up another tier. So 5 in tier 1 goes to 5 in tier 2. And also 5 in tier 2 goes into tier 3. Now you're asking, how do I gain perk points? Well, you can level up like normal. Once in a while you get a perk point. Or you do is go ahead and get some flaws into you. That's right. Flaws will automatically give you 1 perk point if you do accept the flaw. So I'm going to say is if you're first time playing it, definitely don't get some flaws. Just get the perk points the normal way. Other than that, next section of the video I'm going to talk about is flaws for people who are really desperate for perk points and pick out which flaws they definitely want to go for. let's go ahead and talk about flaws and how to get them in case you want to get those perk points. So every time you get a flaw, you get a free perk point to use. So the first one is crinophobia, attacked by too many times by candidates. They're like the dog-like foes. Now you will receive -2 perception, -1 temperament when facing a candidate foe. Now herpetophobia, attacked by too many times by manti family foes. When you face them from this point on, it's -1 dexterity, -1 perception, and -1 temperament. Now paranoid, you get caught too many times, either in a restricted area or by stealing. So what happens is all your personality attributes go down by -1. Now you get an extra penalty of personality attributes when you're in a restricted area or you're sneaking around. So keep that in mind. So let's talk about the next set of flaws. Let's talk about the plasma weakness. Take plasma damage too many times. That's plus 25% plasma damage received when you get this flaw. Rapophobia, attack too many times by Rapidon foes. Now you get -1 dexterity, -1 perception, -1 temperament when facing a Rapidon foe. Robophobia, attack too many times by automechanical foes. When you face automechanical foes with this flaw from here on out, you will receive -1 dexterity, -1 perception, and -1 temperament. Now, permanent concussion, that is when you get hit in the head too many times by foes. When this happens, your mind attributes is decreased permanently by 1. So let's go for the next set of flaws. Here's the next set of flaws you can get by accident or on purpose. Acrophobia, that is falling from great heights too many times. Now, from this point on with this flaw, you get -1 dexterity, perception, and temperament when you're near cliffs or when you're really up there. Now, physical damage weakness flaw is when you take too much physical damage. From this point on, you will receive plus 25% physical damage. Drug addiction, that's when you do too many drugs. So what happens is if you stop doing drugs from this point on with this flaw, you will receive a -1 dexterity, -1 perception, and -1 temperament, aka drug addiction withdrawal debuff when you see that on your character. Pycophobia, sorry I mispronounced that. That's when you're attacked by primals too many times. They're like the ape-like creatures. So when you get this flaw, that it's -1 dexterity, -1 perception, -1 temperament when facing primals. Let's go for the next set of flaws to talk about. Here are the last set of flaws you're either watching out for or getting them on purpose. Corrosive weakness, that's when you take in too much corrosive damage either by environment or foes. When you receive this flaw, that is 25% corrosive damage permanently received. Permanently crippled, that's when your legs are taking too much damage from foes. From this point on, unable to dodge, -30% movement speed, and one thing I forgot to list about it is when you fall down, you take extra damage. Now, farsighted, taking too much eye damage while using a gun. When this happens, -10 on your melee weapon skills. Last but not least, food addiction withdrawal, eating too much food, that's when you get it. So when you stop eating so much food, you'll get a food addiction withdrawal debuff, which entails of dexterity -1, perception -1, and temperament -1. So if you're going for flaws, that's fine. I'll probably say the food or the drug as 1 and 2, whatever order, and the following one. If you want to, you could go for the environment ones like the corrosive damage or the plasma damage. So I'm going to go ahead and talk about the next topic in this Don't Panic guide. The Outer Worlds can be one dangerous game to explore, and so always look out for mines, look out for environments that could do damage to you, watch out for foes. You could walk, you could run, you could crouch, you could jump. Also, when you're looking for containers, if they're not red highlighted, that means you could use them freely without any problems. So we're going to go ahead and check this body out. When you loot up there, you just go ahead and hit the X button. For example, on the Xbox Series X. Other than that, we're going to get to the next part of the guide, which is stealth. At times in the Outer Worlds, you felt like, well, it may be a great idea. I could sneak around or use sneaking around so this way I get behind a foe and annihilate them. So for now, we are way too weak in this part of the game to do some actual damage. So you need to do is crouch down. Depends on which system you're on. You hit that button and you see the foes there. Well, they have not spotted us yet. So once we get an open, there's a meter. So There's like a whitish like meter, so it will go down when you're hiding or out of their line of sight. When it gets red, they'll actively looking for you. So know when to stealth and know when to, yeah, you guessed it, put up a fight. So let's talk about the next topic. In the game, the Outer Worlds, sometimes you have to make choices via dialogue instead of your actions. So you definitely want to get some talking skills up there if you really want to. Also, sometimes your other skills will help you out. So we're going to go ahead and talk to this friendly guard from Spacer's Choice. Now, you see the highlight says Medical 5. If that's highlighted without a lock, go ahead and use it. So anytime you use a certain skill, you'll get experience points. So that is great. Sometimes you might want to do it, sometimes you might not want to do it because it might affect certain choices. Yes, there's choices in this game. And some of those choices will actually appear in the ending. Same thing with certain companion choices too, if you decide to complete all their companion quests. We'll talk about quests more later on. Still, you always want to speak to everybody, take advantage of your skills that you see when you talk to them, like we did with medical. So other than that, talk your butt off and have fun. One more thing I forgot to add. If you want to save before talking to someone in case you mess up on speaking to them and is forced into combat where you don't want to really fight them. So let's go ahead and get to the next part of this guide. Equipment in the game, The Outer Worlds, is very important besides holding 4 weapons all at once, so you get quick and easy access. You can also equip certain armor too. And when you see a certain repair icon, which is like a wrench, yeah, watch out for it. So if it empties out, that means the weapon's broken. So do be careful. Equipping items is very easy also to use. Same thing for armor too. Watch out for durability and more. You can also quickly hotbar certain weapons and armor so you can have easy access to them. Since we got a nice gun, we might as well blast at barrels from a safe distance. So we'll go ahead and do some exploring for the next part of this guide. At times in the Outer Worlds, you cannot talk your way out of battle. Also, you cannot sneak your way out of battle. When that happens, you're in for a fight. Don't worry at all. So I'm going to give you some good advice. Advice number 1, look at your environment. You see those exploding barrels? We're going to go ahead and abuse those. There you go. We just did that. Also, slow down time too. And if you have certain skills that give stats affect the foes, go ahead and aim at certain spots. Like, for example, the groin, the head, the legs, or anything else. After combat is definitely done, loot up these spoils. Now, for the next section of this Don't Panic guide, we're going to talk about damage type in the game and why you should take advantage of it. There are so many damage types in the Outer World, so let's go ahead and talk about it. Physical damage, that's like your normal damage. It's good for the most part except for against armor foes. Plasma damage, great against flesh, weak against anti-sword type of foes. Corrosion, good against armor, including automechanicals, Mantisaurus, and heavy armor foes. Shock, good against automechanics, aka robots. You should definitely use it against them. Now, N-Ray bypasses armor, which is great. However, it's weak against non-organic enemies, like for example those robots. So know what damage type you have and know when you definitely use it. In other words, you have 1 through 4 weapon slots. Well, guess what? Start hotbarring at least 2, 3, and 4 of them for different type of damage. So let's go ahead and speak about the next part in this new player guide. For this next section of this Don't Panic guide, we're going to go ahead and talk about stealing, hacking, and of course lockpicking. Now, stealing items, it's red, so be careful when you're stealing it in towns and etc. Now, we're going to go ahead and pick up these mag locks, and if we have bypass stunts, that's for hacking. So we're going to go ahead and get a few of these. So more into lockpicking or hacking, the less materials you use to bust into things. So we got enough points because that we use none of our items to open it up. So always be on the lookout to hack, also lockpick, and be extra careful when you're stealing in civil areas. If not, you'll be caught. You'll be forced to bribe someone or talk your way out of it. Let's speak about the Workbench, a very useful tool in the Outer Worlds. So, for instance, you could modify your weapons and armor, adding mods to it, which is really helpful. Tinkering, if you have the science skill, you could increase armor rating. weapon damage or anything else you feel like increasing, as long as you have enough of the science skill. Now, if you have enough parts, you get to repair items, which is good. If you need to repair stuff, go ahead and do so. Now, the last part breakdown, if you don't want to sell anything, you could break it down for parts. Of course, engineer, if I remember right, more points than that, more parts you could get. That's it basically about for the workbench. I'm going to go ahead and talk about the next part of this guide. Here is the burning question in the Outer Worlds. Can you respec your character in the Outer Worlds? Yes, but however with limitations to it. So when you respec your character, you only remove all the skill points and the perks, so this way you can redistribute them again. So if one build is not going the way you wanted to, well, guess what? Go ahead and respec your character. It does cost a lot of bits to do so, so save up before thinking about respecing in the game. Well, after all that effort of you exploring, talking your way through conversations, using skills in conversations, or better yet, kill some fool that stand in your way, well, guess what? Congrats, you just leveled up. I'm going to go ahead and talk about what you definitely get when you level up in the Outer Worlds. And yeah, as Auntie Cleo Management Training says, you will get your skill points to a certain point, and once you get to 50, then you have to select a single one. So for now, we're going to go ahead and use our 10 points. Yes, you get 10 points every time you level up your character. So for example, you get to put some points in, for instance, the stealth category, the melee one. Let's see what else I could do. Okay, because I put 20 points into that, I get to have unlock power and sweep attacks, which is nice. So keep that in mind when you're building your character and more. And I'm going to say one thing also that's important is sometimes you get perk points, sometimes you do not. So don't panic at all if you don't see any perk points you get. So you select any perk points you want and voila. Just remember, if you need a respec, if you have the bits, aka currency in this game, go ahead and do so. This will reset your perks and your skills. You just put your points into that. Other than that, plan ahead and you'll know what to do in the future if things work for you. In the Outer Worlds, you really want to quest your butt off, no matter what. Even a simple task to a simple side quest to a series of chain side quests besides the main story one. So we're going to go ahead and talk to our pal Silas near Edgewater. Please note, I do have video guides on the Edgewater quests, so this way it'll have an easier time doing it. I will definitely put in the description a link to all my Outer Worlds video guides. So you see our friend Silas here, we just got to keep on talking to him. And yes, you need to talk to people. Sometimes there will be no skills involved. Other times, certain skills will be definitely involved in order to get a side quest. Please be careful though, later on in the game, there are rival factions you will need to be aware of. So, for instance, if Faction A you're helping out, then Faction B will not like it. You'll get negative hits from Faction B. Eventually you'll be attacked by said Faction B, while Faction A will be happy with you. Now, since this is the very beginning of the game, we complete this quest. Well, guess what? We get a nice faction boost from Spacer's Choice. And we're going to go ahead and say, depending on what job we want to do for Edgewater and Silas. And yeah, see, this is the one we're going to go ahead and help them out on, which is a good thing. So I'm going to hopefully finish up this conversation with them, and we'll get our first task. Don't worry if it's a task, you do get experience points. That's your number one goal from these quests. Get experience points. Develop your character, be much more stronger. And we just got a small grave matter. And yes, I have a video in my on that too. So since we're done with the conversation with our good friend Silas here, what we're going to do is show you in the journal. And yes, when you do get these quests in the Outer Worlds, go ahead and mark them so this way they'll definitely be on your map. I'll demonstrate that too. And I need to mention this. I may have to repeat it again. Some quests will lead to chain quests. Do them. Free experience points. I mean, come on. Sometimes you get some good rewards that you'll definitely use. And there you go. And of course the little tutorial saying go ahead and just mark on your journal. Which I'm going to do exactly. See, we just mark a small grave matter. go ahead and definitely do that. And once that happens, look at your map and voila, see? We got two markers to go to exactly. So quest it up and get some rewards from it. Let's speak about shops in the Outer Worlds. From time to time, you have so much loot. Well, you're going to need to either break it down, or if you need some bits, go ahead and unload that loot. So we're going to this shop in Edgewater, and we're going to look at the shop system. So very simple. Talk to someone there, and you get to trade with them. You can also use vendors to buy things too, which is good though. So there's like a few ways to go ahead and do some shopping. And yeah, and if we have a certain skill, we get a certain discount. Also, faction will give you a discount too. So let's go ahead and check it out. This is your buy section. You get to buy weapons, armor, ammunition, mods, items you get to break into things, and other goodies too. So if you like something in the shop, save up those bits and buy things. You also sell some unwanted items too. So for instance, we got too many of these here. Well, they're gonna go bye-bye. And one more thing we could definitely do is repair. Even though it will cost bits, if you don't have enough skills to repair something, well, go ahead and use the shop vendor to do so. It will cost bits though, aka money in this game. So if you need something, go ahead and shop it up. Otherwise, save that money in case you need something that is you want later on. Let's get to the next part of this guide. So everyone's asking, are there companions in the Outer Worlds? Oh yes, there are. So we got Pravati because we got her. She has her own little special icon. And yes, you definitely want to speak to your companions from time to time. You will get some quests from them. So let's go ahead and look at her inventory, her own section. We can equip her with 2 weapons. And also we equip some armor too. That's really nice though. She gets her own perks, especially all the way to the right, which is a bonus supporting perk, which is good. So yes, when you do equip your companions well, you do some great stuff. And yeah, please come on, do some questing for these companions. They're really worth it. So I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate combat. In provide section, you sometimes want to tune the AI from being super aggressive, because if she's way too aggressive, she could get herself killed. Now, on the left or right, depending on how many companions are there, for instance, we got the left. Pravati could use her special, like I just showed everyone, and she could do some extra damage. Now, what I did was I hit the down button to pull her back because she's causing too much trouble. Hold down the down key in case you want to stop her from doing that. You can also use the up to help you out too. Other than that, keep control of your companions, so this way they'll be alive and well to help you out for more things to come. Let's speak about fast travel. So when you discover enough places, you could definitely fast travel. Fast travel is very easy. Just go to the clock icon and click on it, and boom, you're there. There's also space travel too later on in the game to go to other planets. Sometimes they're locked under certain conditions, so be aware. When you want to go somewhere fast, simply use fast travel. I'm going to go ahead and speak about one of the most important tools in the game, the Holo-graphic Disguise. Without it, you can't go into restricted areas peacefully. So when you get unreliable, you're ready to blast off from Edgewater, this is the location where the Holo-graphic Disguise is at. Remember it. There you go. We'll go ahead and pick it up. And there we got the Holographic Shroud, aka the Holographic Disguise, everyone. So we're going to go ahead and skip to the next part on how to actually abuse this nice tool in the game. So we're on the Groundbreaker, this location where you want to be at for a card. Yes, you're going to need cards for certain factions, so you could use the Holographic Disguise to sneak on through it. You can also pickpocket certain NPCs too if you're really good at it. And we're going to go ahead and grab it. Make sure no one's around, so this way you grab that or anything else you want to steal. What we're going to do right now is wait until this NPC guard goes away, because we have to do some lockpicking in order to get in the restricted area. Let's be patient about it. Yes, you want to be patient. Since you're breaking into areas, you want to case the joint once the guard goes away, and out of the line of sight of us pickpocketing this door. Not pickpocketing, I mean lockpicking this door. And we're going to go ahead and bust on in. So once we get in, the area is going to be different. We got our Holo-graphic Disguise activated. So you notice there are two UI bars mainly. One's a meter. Once it gets to 0, you're basically ready to be caught. And the other thing are your chances. Now, in order to survive after being caught, we have to talk our way through it. What I'm doing on purpose is burning down the meter. And once we are done with that, we're going to go ahead and speak with the NPCs going to catch us. You got to use your dialogue skills in order to evade that. Now, every time you get caught and you get away with it, the points after that goes higher. So 1 is 15 like you're going to see. And after the second and third, it goes up much more higher. There you go. That's how you abuse this restricted area and Holo-graphic Disguise. So definitely remember to poke around the areas, and if you're in trouble, just exit, and should definitely reset your chances. Let's talk about how to get a nice newbie weapon. I am going to go ahead and show you a nice location in the game where you get a very nice new player weapon. Oh, reliable. This weapon will not only carry you through Emerald Vale, it'll also carry you through the Groundbreaker and also Roseway. After that, you're going to have to look for something better. So we're going to go ahead and go to this primal nest full of primal foes. Yeah, don't let them hit you. Don't let them use any other damage. You might get flaws. So you definitely want to do is step 1, clear the area out. Yeah, let's get rid of these ape-like foes who like to vanish and use end ray type of damage. And I'm using a regular old chain gun to clear out the area. Yes, clear out the area before go ahead and go do some serious looting. Now, Provide's been helping me out greatly with these fools. And she's already bashing our way through these knuckleheads. Looks like we're almost done clearing out the nest. Once that is over, the next part is we're going to show you the exact location and quickly why you should want it. So you go with the way I'm going, pick up the old reliable, and you'll loot too. And we're going to do a quick inspection. This weapon is seriously OP'd. 429 DPS. That's very nice. Physical damage, oh well, but it's a good new player weapon. This is the location again, Primal Nest. Exactly where you want to be to get this new player weapon. So for the next part will be for trophy/achievement hunters. I am going to go ahead and show you for all you achievement/trophy hunters on how to fully benefit from these kill amount foes. This also works for use amount items or mod certain items. Now, the starting spot of this part of the guide, that's where you want to make your first save at. Very important. Do not save over it because we're going to be saving over the second file like crazy. So we're go ahead and stealth our way since I am doing the stealth kill trophy. Off screen, I got the majority of it. Otherwise, this will be a way too long video. So we're going to stealth around until we actually get caught. And I'm going to give everybody another set of advice. Use sometimes items that just boost up your stats to help you out big time. So I use the item to boost up my body stats, which I'm using a weapon that requires strength. I'm going to wait until this fool is ready to die. You need to be patient sometimes with the trophy/achievements. And voila, we're ready to try to kill this guy in one shot. There, we got some stealth kills already. That's number 3. So I'm showing at this point is how to actually pull it off. You can also do this for the poor sportsmanship. The stick ball one, let's see here, the one that kills robots with a shocking weapon. And also, I'm trying to remember what else. Oh yeah, plasma kills too. Now I did was real quick was save over. I did the second save. That's the bank save. So you just go through this area like this, keep repeating it like I'm showing you. And this way you'll get that trophy/achievement that requires a lot of farming done. So this way you can do some other fun things. So you're asking, why is this in this guide since it's a new player guide? So I'm going to say this. What if some of these new players are also achievement/trophy hunters who just needs a little extra help? Well, I'm helping them all out. I'm going through this area again, repeating the process like I did previously. I'm just waiting for this fool to get closer by. until he dies, or she, whoever it is. They're all going to die the same way. There you go. We're going to go ahead and knock out this fool. After that, I'm just going to let this achievement definitely pop. I'll give everybody some quick final advice on this part. Now that wasn't bad, so here's my advice. Make sure you use save one only once. That's a farm spot. Clear out the farm area. After that, save 2, load back save 1, do it all again. Save over save 2, keep on repeating until you get a certain trophy / achievement. Let's go ahead and talk about final advice. Here's some final advice before I do end this Don't Panic new player guide for the Outer Worlds. Now, always plan ahead on your character build. If you don't like certain parts of certain skills, go ahead and respec. So this way it can help you out greatly. Save often, save early. If you're a trophy / achievement hunter, just remember, first save is your farming spot. Don't save over it. Second save is your tally spot. You save over that after the area is cleared out until said trophy / achievement pops. Quest it up. It is very important. I mean, even do your companion quest as buy certain items that you definitely need. Explore like crazy. And the most important thing, have some serious fun with this game. It is a real blast. Well, everyone, this is it for my Don't Panic the Outer Worlds new player video guide. This is Lord Fenton signing off. Thanks for watching and have a great day or night. Please stay safe. Please subscribe to my channel for more content like this. If you like what you see, then pick my suggestion on the upper left hand corner or YouTube suggestion on the bottom left hand corner. Have a great day or night and do please stay safe.